Hey heroes, welcome in. We are your hosts for hire. I am Kyle Cage. This is Lucas Rand. We want to start this video first off just saying thank you so much. We could not have done it without you. It's unbelievable how fast we got here. Truly,
We
truly grateful.
have hit 1,000!
Woo!
1,000!
It's unbelievable. We thought this was going to take years, if ever. We really didn't. There was part of me that didn't believe it would ever happen.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember when we started this, I said to you, "Hey man, we got to be okay with the reality that we're probably going to be talking to zero people other than our family for the first year." Like that was what my thought was. First year, it's going to be nobody on the other side. We're just
if
going to be talking
ever,
to
if
the ear.
ever.
Yep. And thanks to you guys, we are I don't even know how long are we in? A few months.
5 months since our
5
first
months,
video.
man, and you guys have brought us to 1,000. That is so cool. That is like nerve-wrackingly cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a lot of pressure, and we hope we can bring stuff that entertains
yes,
you guys, and we
entertainment.
can keep you guys from clicking onto other channels.
Yeah,
And
we want to
and
keep you here. So like the main thing that we want to do to keep you here is give you what you want to see, right? So like if you guys can
yes,
get into our comments and tell us the type of content you
engage.
want to see, tell us debates you want to hear about, tell us what you want to hear us just like shooting the shit about. Like there's so many times where we just don't really know what to do on here,
Yep.
and it'd be real helpful if you guys could get in there and give us ideas.
I agree. I just cannot describe to you how mind blowing it is that 1,000 people have clicked the subscribe button
Yeah,
to the Hosts for Hire podcast
yeah.
with these two absolute geeks who really
Goofuses.
just doofuses who didn't think that anyone would want to watch anything we have to say. And the fact that you guys are engaging with us is just
Yeah, it's built quick too.
heartwarming.
It came to the point where we're like, all right, we have to get our first video out because I think it was Deadpool, right? We're like, we got to use this hype of Deadpool to get our first video out, and it was on our cell phones. Then we recorded on
Yeah,
cell phones up until I don't even know, maybe like a month ago,
a month and a half, maybe. Yeah.
where we were able to upgrade the cameras thanks to you guys and thanks to our
Yes.
Patreons. Thank you guys so much. We were able to
Yes.
upgrade and stuff thanks to you. Uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, so we're just gonna keep on upgrading. Hopefully, just keep on upping the production value, keep on upping the entertainment value, and keeping you guys around. Yeah,
Yeah.
in
So
the
one of the
spirit of that. Yeah.
yeah, so one of the things we had an idea about that we hope you find entertaining, is we wanted to talk about our favorite fantasy worlds and
Hmm.
why they are our favorites.
Yes.
Um, Along with this, we hope that you jump in the comments and let us know what your favorite fantasy worlds are, and try and pick one of these that we list that you want to hear more about.
Yeah.
We'll
Do you
do a
want to see
deep
an
dive of
episode on
lore.
these? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a deep
Yes.
dive of its lore and why we love it so much and
Absolutely.
what about it specifically.
Man,
But
I
yeah,
scrapped this list together kind of quick, so I'm hoping I thought it through well.
well, your instincts, I think, are a good thing to
Yeah,
follow in
that
these
that's
situations
true.
as well.
That's
The
true.
things that you instinctually think, like the first things that come to mind when you think of your favorite things,
Yeah. So are we
are
going
most
top
likely your
five
favorite.
ranking, or are we just
I'm
throwing them
just
out?
I'm just throwing out the
All right.
five that
Sweet.
that came to
Sweet.
my mind and why I love them.
That takes some pressure off.
It's impossible for me to rank these one
I
to five.
feel that. I
I would
feel
have
that.
it would take me years. All right, I've a lot of these I've been reading or
That's what
watching
I
or
was
even
like, oh man.
consuming for
All right.
years, and
All right.
no,
Cool. 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 All right. So for me, top five fantasy worlds, right? Number one, or not number one, but one of them, just classic, iconic, childhood memories. Pokemon.
mm,
The world, the concept. I was obsessed with Pokemon as a kid.
the precious
Like,
little guys, the little
yeah, dude.
chomps.
Like original Game Boy Color Pokemon Yellow, dude, was my shit. If you guys know what we are talking about, original Yellow, get in the comments. Tell us what was your very first Game Boy game. What was like
Yeah,
your very first video game in general? Because I think Pokemon Yellow might have been my like first game that like I ever played when I got to the United States.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. My first game, it's a, one of the random DOS games
Oh
that
yeah.
was on a computer that I had when I was maybe three, like
Yeah.
two and a half. My brother would pull it up. The first game though I remember playing and like remember loving is Doom, which is kind of fucked up.
Oh.
But the original, the first Doom, I would make my brother give me the God mode cheat, and I would just
Just
run around
5 year
blasting
old
demons.
Kyle just
Uh, like two. I'm not exaggerating. 2 or 3 year old Kyle shooting demons in Doom. Um,
and that's why you're so loving now.
yeah, because I killed evil from a young age.
That's
All
right.
right.
That's exactly right.
That was interesting. Sorry, that was a quick detour there, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
an
yeah.
interesting thought process. But let us know in the comments what was your first big game you
Yeah,
remember?
very
Well,
first game you remember.
all right, the first one I'm gonna talk about with my fantasy world is gonna be, let's go with Aragon. The books
Mm.
for Aragon, specifically the magic in that, I really love.
I
It
remember my younger
was
cousin, he was like obsessed with those books and he would read like snippets of them like to me that he thought were badass and it was always involving the magic.
It's because that's the coolest part of those
Like
books. Like the magic, it's intertwined with the dragons, which is also the coolest part of the other
right,
coolest part of
right,
that
right, right,
book.
right, right.
Those books rather. But the magic being like blood magic, where you had to, if you used a spell, you had to be able to physically complete that spell, otherwise it would kill you.
Right.
Like if you
You
if
had to
you couldn't
have
if
the
you couldn't physically dig the hole without it killing you, you couldn't use magic to dig a hole.
right, all right,
Like
okay, yeah, no, right.
you
Mhm.
had to physically be
Be
able to
able to
do
do
the
the thing.
task to be able to use magic to do it as
Yeah,
well.
that's a really killer concept.
Yeah, it's
Another
great.
that brings up one of my favorite worlds in concept is the Fate series
Mm.
anime, like Fate Stay Night, Fate slash Zero, Fate Apocrypha.
Hmm.
In concept, like the idea of magicians having a war, like a secret war with like icons of the past or present or future that they summon to like fight on their behalf. Bruh.
Badass.
Yeah, like hook, line, and sinker, dude. Like whoever
Me
came up with
personally,
that
I love
conceptually.
history. I love
Yes.
history. So these historical figures, I played a lot of, you as well. I know you played a lot of Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors. We've talked about it before on the podcast.
Yeah.
But that also I think has a big thing to do. Like
hundred
those
percent. Like
historical
seeing
warriors
Alexander
are,
the Great, and like all those characters come back as like badass anime warriors.
yep.
Peak.
And trying, and also like one of my, I also love that series. It's not in my top five, but one of my favorite things about that one is the trying to almost trying to guess who's who.
Who's who? Yes.
Like
Yes.
who this lancer is, like who's
Yes.
this
One
lancer,
one
like
hundred percent, bro.
what historical figures. I
That should
love that
fascinate the fuck out of me.
yeah, that's a great, it's a good choice.
Yeah, hit me
uh
with another one.
Going
What do you
along
got?
with anime, we'll keep the anime theme. Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh,
Kind of similarly to Aragon's Magic, the equivalent exchange
yeah. There's a
concept.
theme here
It
that
really
that you clearly like.
it made me think a lot as a kid. It made me realize that there's nothing comes for free. It made me
Yeah,
realize that if like that everything has a cost,
yeah.
good
No,
and bad.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
dude, Full Metal Alchemist is one of those
oh,
like formative animes. Uh,
that's another one that
like
I
if you're
watched it when I
introducing
was
somebody to
young.
animes, like Full Metal Alchemist has to be in like the first three you're showing them, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. In
Like,
my opinion, I agree as well. Yeah, yeah. That's there are a few other animes that I personally love, but wouldn't show
yeah,
for
actually, I
new
have
anime.
another one on here. My Hero Academia is one of my favorite. Well, is in my top five fantasy worlds. Reason being is that's the one I would want to live in, bro.
Mm,
I
mm.
want to do it. A world of super people. The only thing that makes me hesitant of wanting to live
Is probably the same thing that makes me hesitant of wanting to
is
live there.
well, two things actually. One being quirkless. I would have to
Oh,
just, you know, I would, I just wouldn't be able to handle living quirkless. Like there's just that would be horrible. And then the second one is just having a lame ass quirk.
Yes, that is worse. That's worse than being quirkless for me. Because at
Agreed.
least I don't have a
Agreed.
power. But if I have a power and it's
Agreed,
useless or
bro.
weird or lame, I'm gonna be pissed. All right.
I'm 100% with you, dude. Like, there's Bakugo shooting explosions, like flying, and like I can like turn into a slime.
I ooze a weird liquid. Like, there's useless quirks in that world. People just live normal lives that have quirks because they don't do anything helpful.
So funny, man. Just ooze a lube, body wide. It's horrible.
It's like terrible. It's a hindrance to my life. Oh my god.
That's good.
Speaking of worlds that you'd want to live in, one of mine on my list is on there because of that exact same reason. That's How to Train Your Dragon. I want a dragon.
How to
I want
Train
to.
Your Dragon.
I want
And
to
hey,
train a
there's a
little
clear theme
dragon.
here with you. The law of equivalent exchange and dragons.
You know, that's fair. That's very fair.
Yo, that's great.
Yeah, no, How to Train Your Dragon is also just a great heartfelt movie. It's one of my favorite trilogies. I cannot fucking wait for the fourth one. I'm
Yeah.
so
There's a
excited.
live action coming out that I'm extraordinarily nervous for.
That
Um,
really I'm worried about.
but we'll
Yeah,
see.
but
We'll see how it goes.
I'm also really excited for it because I just love it. I know I'm a grown man. I don't care. You can
Fuck you,
judge me all you want.
dragons.
I fucking love animated little dragons that
Yeah,
are
no, dude.
adorable and
Disney movies, bro, have my soul in a lock. I will never be ashamed at watching and crying at Disney movies. It's the manliest thing you can do is cry at a Disney movie because it means you
truly,
understood the depth, bro.
truly, yeah. And you've
Right.
also
Also,
maybe
by the way,
taken
so when we were
hallucin.
making these lists, we put down uh because we made more than five, obviously, and
Yeah,
then we put a list together of ones that we had both said
that's true.
that
Yeah.
that like we both agreed on. And let's talk about a few of those right off the bat. This would have been my number one,
Hmm.
but we both had it, so have to put it on the both list, and that's Steven Universe.
Yes.
If you guys know Steven Universe, if you don't, go experience it. It is in my opinion, one of the best written pieces of any media ever. It's like the most. It's probably for ages like 3 through 10 and up.
Yeah.
But like, bruh, there is no depth like there is in that show that I've experienced in another one.
Watching it as an adult, it makes me want to show it to every
Child,
child I know.
yes,
Like,
100%.
every
And adult,
single
I
yeah, and
forced
adult.
my older brother to watch it. Like I
It
was
should
like,
be
you have to.
it should be a seminal show. It should
Yeah,
be
I'm
something that really enters the zeitgeist, in my opinion. It's something that
100%.
could really help
The
society.
human race, yes, dude. Dude. Actually, uh,
Truly.
secondly on that list is Lord of the Rings. Obviously, we both have Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's just a classic. You know, you can't be a nerd. You can't like fantasy in general and not just love Lord of the Rings.
At
Uh,
least some aspect of it, you know?
Star
Like,
Wars would have been on this list if Star Wars hadn't been letting me down so consecutively and so continuously for so long.
yep. I personally really love the first, six
Oh
movies.
no, right.
Like the first three, even
The
like
first three,
the original trilogy of four, five, and six. I watched
peak.
as I was as a teenager. It
Lately,
really it blew my mind. I was a lot older than a lot of people were when they saw it, and it shouldn't have been as good as it was in my opinion.
yeah, no,
It
yeah.
really held up for being
Oh,
such an old
100%. You
movie.
could watch it
Like,
today,
yeah,
and
and it
and and
holds
and, and,
up.
and it'll hold up. Yeah, absolutely. Uh,
But so we'll add those together though, because Lord of the
Another
Rings
movie
and
that I
Star
think will
Wars are
hold up that
close.
we both had on our list as well that I think will hold up the test of time is the new Planet of the Apes movies.
Absolutely,
Those are some of my
100%.
favorite fantasy world, favorite movies in general.
Again,
Fantastic. Matt Reeves.
a
Mwah.
little bit of a theme here with the political and
Yeah.
the heartfelt. There's a lot of we clearly enjoy a lot of heartfelt
Yeah.
drama and nuance and
And
stuff
then
like
clearly
that.
the
Like,
last one that we both had on our list and is my favorite game series of all time is Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom
yes,
Hearts, man.
the
It
nostalgia from it, the just because of all
everything.
of the Disney characters being in
Yeah.
it, growing up watching those Disney
Man,
movies and then playing through video games with those
I have so
same
much
characters.
emotional links of my life through like
Hmm.
relationships and just like growing up and shit that are linked to Kingdom Hearts, bro, that like I have so much like core memories developed
Yes,
through that game series that like
yeah,
no matter what they do with it going forward, if it just is terrible, like it couldn't be ruined. Like
no.
I'll just like it based on it being Kingdom Hearts at this point.
And to be fair, the third game was fun. It was a good game. The
Not
story
as
is
good as the
amazing.
first two.
The gameplay was here's the reality. Like here's my take on Kingdom Hearts. And not everyone might like this, but it's a game that is literally built to be able to be beaten on the hardest difficulty at level 1.
One, right? You
So
should be able
playing
to do
that
it.
game is easy as hell. It's
Yeah,
too easy.
I agree with
If
that.
you use all of the things it gives you, if you even just play the game as if
Yeah,
you're playing a normal game on the hardest difficulty, it's easy.
yeah.
Which is that's
I,
my biggest issue with especially the third
yeah. I'll
one.
say
But
this: the third one specifically, I very much agree with that. It's just so easy. I don't think like through the gameplay of the game, I died once.
no,
I think like the
I didn't
first
even
guy
come
that killed
close.
me, it was one of the super bosses at the end, and I forget his
Yeah.
name. I
Anyway,
100% agree with
going along with video games, real quick to finish out our
that.
other list as well. Going along with video games because I know you have a video game on your specific list as well. Um, Final Fantasy
Oh
is
yeah, no,
it's I watch, like as a kid, I watched my older brother play all of them, and then once I was old enough to kind of play them myself, me and my other brother, we would play together. He's a year older than me, so we would play together and we would tag team and go back and forth. And when he couldn't figure something out, I would try and figure it out, and vice
that was something that
versa.
I didn't necessarily have. So my older brother is 7 years
Mhm.
older than me, so he played all the games first while I just watched. I essentially just
That's
watched him game like
yeah,
all of it, and then like I wasn't able to like play because like I remember trying and just like I wasn't good enough to like do it.
yep.
Uh, and then when I was finally able, uh, I was kind of way behind. There was all these new games, but I wanted to like play those games. You
The
know what I mean?
games you
So
watched
like,
him
yeah,
play,
so
yeah.
like I was like super behind on shit.
Yep. Yeah. So what's interesting is I kind of had both experiences because my brother Brian is 8 years older than me,
Yeah,
so I watched him play through the games, couldn't play them, but also wasn't old enough to understand or like
yeah, right.
remember. So again, by the time I got to those games, me and my brother Dylan, we had each other to tag team
Yeah,
and to kind of have two brains to try and
yeah,
figure
yeah,
these
yeah.
games out. So we would struggle through games. There was a game we played. I've talked about it again on the podcast before, but Legend of Legaia. Me and him played that game a dozen times, finished it never. We
Hey,
never
that's a
once
beautiful
finished it.
segue to
Like,
my last fantasy world here. You said Legend of Legaia. My last fantasy world is Legend of Dragoon.
oh, yep,
I
mm,
that is uh, like you said, Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy has some like absolute banger name titles, like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, 10, like
mhm.
just absolute seminal top 10 games of all time shit.
Yeah,
In my opinion, Legend of Dragoon belongs in that
in that category,
category.
100%. I agree.
It's so good, man. I'm dying for a remake of this game.
Oh,
The story of it, the world that they build, the like history that they like ingrain in the story that like it feels like this world is real, that it's old,
hmm.
that like
The
there's like
uniqueness
oh
of its mechanics,
yeah
especially for the
oh
time, there
whew,
was nothing like it
still
before or since. Yeah, like
bro,
since or before, like there was nothing like it.
dude, such a thrill to like get to succeed on all the clicks. Like
Yeah,
man, it's like as a kid and as an adult, because I've played like again as a fully grown man, and it's so thrilling. It's just
yeah,
like it brings me back to being like a kid sitting on the couch with like the PlayStation One controller. Uh, it's just such a good feeling. Yeah, so
yeah.
that's definitely got to be. in the top 5.
Yeah. Let us know what your favorite video games growing up were,
Yes.
what fantasy things trigger you when you think about them. You get that oh my god, I
Yeah,
love
like
it
what are
so
your
much
fantasy
feeling.
worlds that we just like
Yeah.
talked about, but like what are some that we didn't include that like just give you that factor that like just so satisfying no matter how many times you play it or experience it. And then as well, out of all the ones that we talked about today, what would you like to see an episode like deep dive
Yes.
on? Would you want it on Final Fantasy, Legend of Dragoon, Pokemon, My Hero, Steven Universe, Kingdom Hearts? We
We
talked
will
about a lot of
glad
shit.
we will gladly do any of these because
Yeah,
while we had our
absolutely.
own list and a both list, we love all of them. We
Oh,
both love all the
yeah.
ones we talked about.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right, 100%. There's like nothing that like you said that like I wasn't also like yes.
and vice versa, exactly. So we will gladly talk about any of the 12, whatever,
Yeah,
13 ones we talked about. But let us know which ones you want to hear us talk about, and we will give that to you. That's what we're trying to do: interact with you, give you what you want, and
and
talk about
again,
things
you
we love.
guys, thank you so much for
Oh.
getting us to 1,000. We are at 1,000. Once again, we dancing. uh, no, seriously, it's like from the bottom of our hearts, being at this milestone at this like early stage is just humbling and exciting, and is just like getting us to want to do this more. So
Yes.
interact with us, like Kyle said, and we were gonna try to give back to you as much as we can.
Yeah. We appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you on the next one.